fast on this side. I think I'm Big Meech.
What up, what up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Ajiona. We are locked in. This is the recap for episode 9, BMF season 3. And let me tell you, we're in Miami. We're looking for a mechanic, and we're trying to get these vehicles up and running because the red dogs are catching on to all of our tricks and gimmicks, and they are trying to stop these drugs from moving throughout Atlanta. But also, while we're down in Miami, we have an issue with a crew with the initials MK because we're on their hometown, and their leader goes by the name of Glock. Now, before we jump in this and we break down the recap of episode 9, if you like BMF content, breakdowns, theories, and predictions, live after show discussions, then hit your subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so you get something every time I upload. Make sure you hit that like button. Oh yeah, and I'm on that road to 50,000 subscribers, so I appreciate each and every one of you. If this video ain't at 100 likes, hit that like button. Now, let's get ready to jump into it. This is the recap for BMF episode 9, season 3. We start off by seeing young Meech and Terry, and the reason that this is symbolic for the episode, they're talking about making it down to Miami because they're at a beach here in Detroit, but it's not really a beach, it's just a lake with some sand. And the reference from Tony Montana is them taking over the world, i.e. them getting into the dope game. And knowing that Tony relocated down to Miami from Cuba to start a better life and live the American dream. So we see Meech and Terry, they've had this dream since they were younger to be larger than life. And of course, we're going to watch it play out. But at this point, this is showing how close they are and the bond that's going to carry them throughout this season, finishing up these last 2 episodes, and primarily these two down in Miami. Meek showed up to Miami first, and he's just waiting on his brother Terry. Now, once Terry gets here, he's looking at it. Hey, man, you remember when we were kids out at the lake beach? Man, we finally made it. I can't wait to hit up South Beach. But before we get started, we need to get down to business. Meech and Terry wants to know about the mechanic. Now, the mechanic's name is Francois, and he's invite only, meaning he only deals with the highest of clientele. Meech is here, and he's like, man, once we get this mechanic and we get our vehicles up and running, no one's going to be able to stop us. We'll be able to take over the whole nation. Now, you know how Terry is. He brought Markeisha with him. And when Meech sees this, he's a little upset. Like, why would you bring her down here on a business meeting? But the hell with it. The show must go on. And Meech and Terry, they need to get prepared to go and meet with the mechanic. Meech and Terry end up meeting up with Mac Attack. Remember, they seen him in Detroit and he had the Rolls Royce. He had the seats that lift up with speakers and a safe. Well, when they get down to Miami, he's the one that told them about the mechanic. He brings them to the strip club. But when they get to the strip club, they notice that Angel is dancing at the club. And we heard at the end of episode 8 that she was going down to Miami to dance at a club. Now, we don't know if this is with Glock or with the Miami Killers, or she was just going down there. But when they get there, Terry's thinking, you knew she was here? And Meech is like, nah. Well, it turns out the Miami Killers are there and they're watching her. And they turn around and see Meech and Terry. And you know what happens in the strip clubs in an episode of BMF. It can get ugly quick. I'm talking about bottles across your head, someone getting unalived. Meech and Terry, they got to get up out of here right now. Terry gets back to the resort and he's talking to Markeisha, but Markeisha is thinking that this is a legitimate vacation. Remember, she's been planning to go out of town for a while, but Terry lets her know, hey, I need you to stay at the resort. It's very dangerous out there. Me and Meech got into it with some guys and they might be after us. They might be after you. We don't know at this point. But Markeisha, being entitled that she is, she tells Terry, I've done this before. I've been around Boom. I know how to handle myself. And if you're not going to have a good time, I'm going to go out and enjoy myself. So Terry's looking at it like, this is a safety risk. You need to stay here. But one thing we realized about Markeisha, and we noticed this from the beginning, she's hard-headed. And at this point, she's off to do her own thing. Meech shows up and he tells Terry, hey, let's go. Invite only. The mechanic is ready. Meech and Terry are discussing the plans about meeting with this mechanic and not showing up at the first call. Well, while they're doing this, they get a call from Loco. And Loco is telling Meech, hey, the bricks, they came in a little earlier. I need you. I trust you. You're my go-to guy. And that's what Meech has to relay to Terry. He says, listen, Terry, there's only one pilot that Loco trusts. And there's only one person he trusts with those bricks, and that's me. So basically, we need to go meet with the mechanic. I need to go pick up these bricks, but we need to expedite everything that we're doing because this right here is going to make or break us. We already building that name, and Loco came looking specifically for us BMF because he knows how fast we get that work, we move that work. Or as Future would say, as soon as the work hit the city, we move it. Glock ends up making it down to Miami, and he's showing up for the funeral of the gentleman that was supposed to take out Meech at the hotel room with the two strippers. Well, we know that that plan didn't work, and Meech ended up throwing him out of a window. So while he's here paying his respect, we hear them talking about T'Chaka and paying respect to him, but Glock sees things a little bit differently. He says, no, I need to pay back T'Chaka, and that means revenge. Basically, I don't care what we need to do. Meech, Terry, his brother, his family, whoever it is, they need to be unalived. So he puts the chain on T'Chaka, and while this is going on, we see Angel get up and walk out. Now he's telling his right-hand man, she's going to follow them, and she's going to give us the lead on where Meech and Terry are at. Charles opened up the tour with the Campbell brothers. Now he's at the studio getting his practice in, and they're in the back listening. They're like, damn, this guy Charles is actually pretty damn good. Well, they come out and they offer him 6 weeks on tour with them, hotels, fancy restaurants. They want to answer. Now, Charles is looking at this like, man, I don't have enough money for that. But they're telling Charles, no, this is a real tour. This isn't the Chickland circuit. This is us making some real good money here, and we like to bring you on. So Charles, this has always been his dream to be in music. But at this point, he's a little hesitant, but he also wants to accept this offer. He just needs to go and talk to his wife, Lucille. Meech and Terry show up to the mechanic's warehouse. Now, when they go in here, this isn't your typical garage. There's all kinds of pieces of artwork in here, and we see him working on something that looks like a transformer. But when they come over, Francois is like, listen, I'm a busy man, and when you don't make an appointment, then I really can't deal with you. But what Terry is doing is trying to buy them some time. So he's admiring the work, and he's like, listen, I'll buy this sculpture from you. Now, Francois is saying it's not about the money, but if you really want to buy it, it's $200,000. Now, Meech isn't understanding what's going on because remember, Meech says he's the face of the operation. He's thinking he should do all the talking. But Terry, he negotiates to buy this artwork, basically saying, I admire the work that you do, Francois, and I'm willing to do business with you. So now they got a down payment and they just got to pay the rest of the money tomorrow. Francois is good to go. Charles comes home and he's very excited. And when he gets in the house, Lucille's in the kitchen. He's like, babe, guess what? She's like, what, Charles? He said they want me to go on tour with them. They said I've been doing a hell of a job. They love my music. They love my instrumentals. They want to take me on the road. She's like, Charles, that's good. This is your dream. You can go live your dream now. He's like, yeah. I have a question though. I want to know if you'll go with me on the road for 6 weeks. Hotels, restaurants. We can have the honeymoon we never had. Now Lucille is looking at it and she's like, I don't know about that. Maybe you should go do this on your own. Now Charles is looking at it like, you're not staying behind to help out our relationship. You're just staying behind because you want to mess with Dr. Reese. Jen has been meeting up with Henry and she's trying to get closer and closer to get whatever information is possible. Now she has a listening device, and when she goes to the gambling spot, we see Uncle Ruckus, who gave her the money, and they're trying to figure out where the hell Tyshon is because they haven't heard from him. And we figured out that money, Bryant might have it. He did not mention it. But she almost gets caught putting the listening device on Henry's cane. She sees her captain come in here and she's suspended. She's not supposed to be working this, and she's been linking everything together. So once she sees the captain, she tells Henry, do you want to get out of here? So she can still try to put this listening device on her and also get out of Dodge so Captain can't see her and blow her cover. Once they get back to the crib, we see Henry and Jen, they start to talk. And now Henry wants to know more information, personal information, asking Jen, where does she work? Where does her family come from? And she says, oh, I used to just work in diners. That's it. I ain't really do much. Now Henry is like, I used to eat in diners all the time, so I understand where you're coming from. So what Jen is trying to do is distract Henry from seeing her put the listening device on the cane. So she says, can you make me a drink? Now she's finally successful by putting this device inside of the lion's mouth. Once Henry turns around, they get to kissing to keep the distraction going on. And one thing leads to another. We see Henry going downtown. Whenever the going gets tough, we always realize that, hey, try to go get you some. And Meech and Angel, they've been close. They've been getting back closer and closer together, and that trust is getting there because she told Meech about the heads up in Atlanta and what's going on down here. She was followed by Glock and the Miami killers. So she goes to tell Meech this, and Meech is like, "What? They were following you to get to me? I'll never let them hurt you." Now these two, their relationship is starting to blossom again, and while they on the beach, they do what adults do, and they proceed to get it on. Even though that she was followed by the Miami killers, they said, "You know what? Let's risk it on this beach." After the beach, they go and get a girl some of the weapons. Now they head back over to Francois' house to pay him this money. They showing up with the rest of the 200. Now you hear them doing another Tony Montana reference, talking about all I have is my word and my ball, and I don't break them for anyone. Now this money is here, and Meech is like, "Listen, the money is going to be there. All we need to do is guarantee that you're going to work for us." And what they do is give him another gift. Hoop shows up because, you know, the Motor City, they got access to all the vehicles. He shows up with a Porsche, and they're giving it to Francois so he can go ahead and start working on the vehicles. But Meech tells him, "You need to start working on the vehicles today and non-stop. This could be in your calling card if you do a good job with this." Just as Charles was suspecting, we see Lucille going out with Dr. Reese, and they're at a nice little restaurant. And long story short, he's been loving her and been after her since the beginning of time. And he keeps it real with her. Now, she does admit that she's married a little bit later on after they go back to the room. But he tells her, "Here's a key to my room, and I'm willing to change your life. All you have to do is accept this and walk on through that door." Well, she accepts. She goes upstairs. And once they get to kissing, they get back to the same spot they did when they was in the hospital, in his office. And she tells him, "I have to stop because I am still technically married." Well, not technically, I am still married. And Dr. Reese tells her he'll wait however long it takes. Nikki and Breeze continue to get closer and closer and closer. Now, it started off with them just seeing each other at church. Then it went to them playing video games at the house. Then it went to them drinking in the back seat of a vehicle instead of doing homework. And now Breeze is in the bed. But it doesn't go anywhere. Breeze, being a gentleman and all, he asks, "Are you okay with this?" But Charles shows up and he comes into the room. Breeze got to sneak about the house. So Breeze, he's one step closer, but he's also one step closer to getting in trouble and getting caught by Charles, Terry, or Meech. Everyone has been sitting around the warehouse because they're waiting for the vans to be finished. Meech is here, and he was the one that was unloading the bricks that Loco sent to him, while Terry and the mechanic were up all night for 2 days straight trying to get these vehicles to work. Now we find out that it actually works. We have a stash spot now. You got to turn on the blinker. You got to turn on the wipers. You got to turn on the radio. You got to pump the gas 17 times, and then the compartment will open up. So Meech is looking at this like, "Damn, good stuff, Terry. I like the work that you guys put in, you and the mechanic. Now they can start putting the bricks in here, and we can get these vans on the road back to Atlanta and actually start making some money." We finally see Tyson's body. We were wondering if Brian unalived him or not, but he definitely did. Now, Blaze is here, the captain is here, and the captain is saying, "I'm going to give you guys some time." And when Henry comes in, this is another brother that she lost. This is her cousin. Tyshon and Twan were her cousins, but she was so close with them, they were like brothers. Now she's about to lose it. She wants revenge at any cost. Now you hear Blaze saying, "No, no, no, we can't do that." The listening device is on also. He's like, "I told you to work with Terry and you didn't, and this is what happens." And that's because Detective Bryant put the body in the trash can close to Terry's diner. So now it looks like BMF was responsible for Tyson's body. Brian and Jen, they're listening to everything that's going on the radio. And Brian says, "Hey, I put that body in a trash can, so it's going to look like BMF did it. But Jen, you have to remember, we're doing this for Kevin and Kobe." Jen is saying, "Hey, can we go tell the rest of the police department about this?" He's like, "Nah, what we need to do is go over their head. We need to go to the councilman, Emerson's dad. We need to go to the media. We need to go to people like that who aren't connected to the police department that could potentially give them a heads up." So Jen is hearing this and she's like, "You might be right about this, because if their cover is blown, this could be bad for everybody." And Jen wants her badge back. Back at the hotel, it's time to get the show on the road. We need to get up out of here. Everyone's packed. Terry sent Markeisha home, but once they get downstairs, they're getting ready to leave. They see Glock and the whole Miami Killer squad down in the lobby. Now they got to go hide over by the bar, and they're looking like, oh Lord, how are we going to get out of this? Terry thinks Angel has something to do with it, but Angel doesn't have anything to do with this. Glock just wants blood and he wants revenge now. Now they tried to sneak out behind him. Angel drops her bag. Glock sees him. Meech goes and does a jump kick. Hey, yeah, yeah. Right into the gut. Now the Miami Killers get to shooting. Pop, 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 pop. They don't hit anything, but Glock stands up after being kicked, and they actually unalive Glock right there in the lobby trying to get Meech. Everyone is speeding back to the warehouse, and when they get there, Meech is telling them, hey, mechanic, you, Tina, Angel, y'all go that way. You two drivers that came with Terry, y'all take those vans. Hey, you take that van. Let's go. Let's get out of here right now. So now they have to dip about the warehouse because the Miami Killers have been following them. Now, they only seen Meech's vehicle, so they're following the white Mercedes Benz. Everyone else goes right, Meech goes left, and now we're on a high-speed chase, and Meech tells them, hey, meet me at this lookout point over on Miami Beach, and I'm going to meet y'all there. So everyone else is headed that way, and Meech, he's on the run while the Miami Killers are looking for him. Charles comes back to the house, and he's talking to Lucille because he has to give them an answer about going on tour. And when he gets here, he's like, Lucille, I want to know if you want to go with me. I don't know if I want to do this tour without you. She's saying, Charles, you need to do this tour. I already told you I'm going to stay behind. This is something good for you. And to be honest, Lucille admits that she thinks that she's in love with Dr. Reese. Now, she hasn't done nothing with him but a little bit of kissing, but that's because she knows she's still married. Charles hears this, and he's like, well, at this point, it's probably best that I just go on the road. This relationship right here, it looks like this is the last chapter. It's a closing to the book. Henry is disregarding everything that her father Blaze has told her, and what does she do? She goes to the diner. Hoop comes outside with a trash bag, laughing. Henry pops up out the darkness and gets to letting off. Pow, pow, pow. She unalives Hoop right here on the spot, and she tells him to tell Meech and Terry that they are next. Now, I don't know how a dead man's going to do any talking, but Henry at this point, she's a loose cannon, but she has dead accuracy. And RIP to Hoop, Henry ain't playing around with y'all. This is for Tyson. On the way back to Atlanta with the vans, there's an anonymous call that's put in, and it pulls over Meech and Terry. Now, we've been seeing Remy all episode talking about he hate out-of-towners. Meech and Terry can't do this. So it's alleged that they put in the call to the Red Dogs to stop these vans. Now, the Red Dogs, they play a dirty game, and they break the tail light and tell Meech these vans are going into the compound. Now, Terry is telling Meech, hey, just chill. We got those safes in there. Nothing is going to be found. So hopefully they aren't, and we can get these vans back, but we need to figure out who put this call in so we can try to get revenge and get these Red Dogs off of our case. All right, there you go, to recap for episode 9 of BMF. Let me know, who do you think put that call in? Was it Remy Ransom? Was it Markeisha? Who put the call in for the Red Dogs to stop these vehicles? And also, is there going to be a chance for Charles and Lucille to either get back together or Lucille come on the road and listen to one of the shows? Let me know what you think. I'm MoDIJ. Let's start that conversation down below. I'm on that road to 50,000 subscribers. If I said something to make you think, or you just like BMF content or breakdown of shows, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. I'm out.